This should be a good one. It's PSG going up against Flipside Tactics. What do you guys think? Shogun and Final Carpet.
Sweep? Sweep. He did say sweep.
I think.
Just sweep.
I'm pretty sure. And I'm done with this.
Yeah, I'm completely done with this as well. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the penultimate game of this week's EU RLCS. It's going to be Flipside Tactics against Paris Saint-Germain. And they're going to be their opening week. They did very well earlier on, picking up that first win. Another win here for PSG puts them 4-0 up there with method.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
Possible. It's very possible. And if it does happen, we were speaking about this earlier on in the week on overtime. If that ends up happening, you start looking at those teams and just going, wow, you've got to do a lot wrong at that point to really drop that 4-0 and go into effectively a playoff match.
Yeah.
Into that third spot, like 3 through 6. A win here really sets up PSG for the rest of the season.
It puts them in a great place, and I think when you're looking at Flipside Tactics, I was talking about it when I was casting them before, they just take too long to get to where they feel good. They just take a little bit too long to get to the flip side that we know, and by then they're out of time. So will we see, are they coming off of that last series like already warmed up? Did they go take a nap again and they're waking back up again? I don't really know. They are kind of like the kind of what Axel said, the G2 of Europe. You know, those two teams have insane amounts of skill but are very inconsistent in their performances. So which flip side are we seeing today? Flip a coin, ladies and gentlemen.
This really goes either way. If PSG take this, not only do they go 4-0, how's it going? What'd you get?
Not telling you.
Back of your hand. Okay. Give me the invisible
the
coin.
Back of my hand.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. But if PSG can take the win here, they go 4-0, but on the other side of that, for flip side, that puts them all the way down in the rankings, have a fight against XL, who have had such a good week this week, going 2-0.
Yeah.
That would be such a huge problem for them, especially moving forward. Time is running out.
And if you don't remember, last season, Flipside made it into LAN in a Game 5 overtime goal. So they barely made it to LAN.
Very late, don't they?
They barely made it, and it was to Method, who now are here to show that they are way better than they were last season. They've been putting in the grind.
I like Method's way of just trying to completely avoid that situation.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, we're going to avoid playoffs by being perfect.
Yeah, we're just going to be in top 2. We're just going to automatically qualify in the LAN. Don't worry about it. We don't want to worry about the playoffs. We're just going to qualify in. But flip side of, I don't know. It's been tough. Like, you know, there's a controversy of have they been putting in the hours? Have they been practicing? And there is that toss-up of, yes, grinding puts you in a good place to a degree because it keeps your mind more attuned to everything. You understand how players are playing. If you're scrimming pro teams, you kind of have a grasp of the play styles you're going against. What was it? I think Garrett G, chatting with him in some Twitch chat somewhere, after they lost that first game, you know, he's like, we were just scrimming the wrong team. You know, like we were too busy scrimming one team. We weren't getting enough practice in, right? So that's where the grind starts to show. Is it's like, okay, we've played all these teams. We understand what we're up against.
That actually is a really good point you brought up there because it's a problem I've had in general. So myself, Gregan, of course, we've both spoken about this at length for the case of you can put hours in, but you have to put the hours in on the correct part of the game. Otherwise, you're not getting anything out of it. If you're putting hours in just playing over and over again, kind of going, you know, a little bit
I'm direct proof of that.
Yes.
I am direct proof. I have nearly 3,000 hours, and I'm garbage.
Yes, you are.
Because those hours are not very pointed.
They're not. But if you spend that time in the game modes, in different, you know, you see people doing the new dribbling challenge. It's, you know, it's not overly useful for in-game stuff, but now you know exactly how that ball physics works. So you've got that one little thing sorted out. You get the same thing with all of those different training packages you've got out there.
Yeah.
The more time you can spend doing that stuff, the more accustomed you are to each individual thing. You can then spot little problems you've got. One of my problems, my personal ones, is I will stop boosting on my way up for an aerial. At the very last second.
That's how you do aerials. Why did you?
No, just before the hit.
All right.
I will always stop. That is a bad habit of mine. It's something that you just notice as you're going along and practicing this stuff all the time, rather than just consistently repeating the same formula every single day.
It's very hard to get yourself out of muscle memory, especially since Rocket League is so reactionary. There's something that needs to be committed to muscle memory, right? Because your brain needs to kind of shut off sometimes and just react and do something. But when you rely on that too much, you start to get predictive and you do things like that, right? Where for some reason you let go of boost while you're doing an aerial, Shogun.
8 years I've been doing that.
Fair enough.
can just stick around. But we are in our game right here between PSG and FLIPSID Tactics. And what a big game one this is going to be. Both these teams having very different introductions to their week. FLIPSID Tactics trying to bounce back from a loss. PSG looking to go 2-0 for this third week. Put themselves 4-0 overall. Bluey's got options available to him. Just didn't quite get it all the way back. And there's going to be a long ball. Cookser should leave that. And he will. Mystic. Interesting to see where he's going to be on this. And there's no boost at all for Chaussette. He will be beat in the race.
I was going to blame Chaussette's short car maybe. That spounced right over
He's got
him.
loads.
He had loads of boost. He had loads of everything. He honestly just misjudged that bounce.
Yes.
He was hoping it would go right off his hood and then he could follow it up with a quick aerial or even control it and drop it. The risk of the corner because the couple pixel movements of the ball and it's going a completely different trajectory. So
the half flip is fast. It's not that fast.
That's true.
Especially not when Cooks is going to come barreling over 100 boost. There's going to be a shot off that side. Cooks here playing the ball long yet again. Should be interesting to see whereabouts Mystic falls in during this series. I think everyone's kind of 50-50 split as to whether or not they want to see Mystic as a backman or as just part of a regular rotation. But it's got to be figured out very soon. The FLIPSID squad is the team with the answers for that. There's going to be a demo on the side on Marky Duda.
Interesting. Demolition and then retreat.
Bump. Just all the way back, but on the other end of the field, it is going to be Farah who does get an important block. Opportunity for Bluey to come in. He tries to get that down, but Cooks there gets his entire car's body in the way, pushes it to the side, keeps it safe for the time being, and it does allow FLIPSID to completely rotate their team back. One touch, looking over for Cooks here. Straight over to PSG. FLIPSID Tactics holding on to their 1-goal lead. PSG that have got all of the work to do at this point in time, who's still over in the sides and taking out Chaussette as well. Opportunity now for FLIPSID Tactics to make a lot of this offensive time, but Blue with his catch on the side boost gives him an opportunity to be aimed for as that target man. Still 1-0 halfway through this game.
And only three shots for FLIPSID and 2 for PSG. So even though it feels like they've been in control, not a lot of threatening shots, but it does almost feel like FLIPSID, they're buying time at this point. They haven't tried to get too offensive with it. They're a little too scared, but that could pay against a team like PSG.
Cooks here, takes it down. Marky Duda then launches. 1-2 combo there from the FLIPSID boys. So they just try and keep that pressure on PSG. The more time it spends in PSG's half, the more time taken away that PSG needs to try and get goals back. Chaussette, unconvincing touch from him. He's now removed himself from the play. FLIPSID Tactics can take advantage of that, and they will. Here comes Cooks in. Long shot from him. Scrambling save there from Chaussette, but he does get there. Impressive. But he shouldn't have been needed to put in that position to start with.
And I like Mystic's idea to just put it right back into the middle for another hard shot, but a little too quick. But the idea was there. Marky Duda almost there for the shot.
PSG now struggling to get that ball out of their half. Finally going to get it, but it's basically straight back over to Cooks. He launches it over to the side to Mystic. I do like that they are starting to use the whip. Attempted bump over in the background. It has been avoided. PSG have got their opportunity to try and consolidate offense. Bluey off that backboard. Chaussette in the correct position, but thinking better of sending a third in for that attack. Not wanting to give up a second goal, especially with a minute still remaining. When do you suddenly start thinking that an overcommit might be actually worthwhile, Carpet?
Probably around the 40-second mark. At that point, if you get scored on, you might as well just let it go. But you just go all in.
So the early goal from FLIPSID still maintaining that lead. So try and take this first game. Cooks it, puts that up high. Chaussette can take his time, depending on how much boost he's got. He can do a lot with this. 2 players committed from PSG. Just desperate to get control of this ball. It's reached that 40-second mark that you did mention. Now let's see what PSG got to do. First things first, they've got to get that half, and they've got to avoid it from getting to Marky Duda.
These quick, accurate passes directly onto the hood of Marky Duda. You see Cooks are getting one. It did pinch off of Bluey. Oh, wow, that was actually super circumstantial. Yes. I didn't realize that was such a hard pinch. My bad. Yep, well, lucky for Marky there, that decided to find himself, nuzzle himself right into the side of his car as he was sitting in front of the net. That is probably going to seal the deal for them, but PSG looking relatively strong, just a little bit slower than usual. Oh, man. The pressure right now from FLIPSID is pretty relentless.
Marky with that goal, proving that he is the world's most useful inanimate object. As Kuxir puts another one on target. It's going to be quite low, though. Just with a flick over the top, Bluey and Chaussette will look for something, but it will not happen. Flipside Tactics trying to put the memories of their previous series behind them, taking this one. As they're going to open up the scoring 1-0 lead in this series.
Well, definitely seems like the warm-up is their thing, and they're warmed up. So, yeah, it's a shame they had to lose the first series to get to this point, but now 2 goals up against PSG, a team that is undefeated at the moment. There's no one that has been able to defeat PSG, so it would be a good, I don't know, I guess, check on the ego list for Flipside Tactics if they can move forward with this series. A lot of saves for PSG. They were oftentimes back, not a lot of shots for them. The first minute or two, they seem to have a little bit of control, but again, not being creative. And it's those short midfield passing plays that Flipside can do. And they're the ones that usually, at least when we first started seeing them execute it, was with insane speed. They were the ones that were like smashing passes at each other. And that was when they started really outpacing everybody and catching them off guard. Like you'd see Kuxier just slam a ball right into Marky's hood, which then all he has to do is like, do this.
Yes.
And like, that's net, right? And just not even move, and it's just slamming in a net. So that's usually what they were able to excel at, but we really haven't seen a lot of that from them.
The most impressive I've ever seen that actually from them was the scrimmages they were having before the last World Championship Finals. And then ever since then, I haven't actually seen it as much. They tried it a couple of times back then, but it didn't work out. I want it to be back. I really do. I want someone in that midfield area. Now, they don't have Greasy anymore, who was actually very good at this style of play.
Yeah.
They've got to try and introduce Mystic to it at this point in time. But the more they can keep pinging the ball around as much as possible, the more speed they can keep on those passes and launch it into the body of the car, the better they play. But we haven't seen that really from them so far this season, and it needs to start happening. So, game number 2. PSG currently trailing by 1 game. They will love to try and take it back and level us up, but Kuxir might have just misstepped Chaussette. Giving him the good old 1-2. Mystic, control, looks for the block. Bluey will be first this. Kuxir has to try and deal. He tries to pre-jump, but Bluey is just way too accurate.
So Kuxir had, he had a billion decisions, but 2 major ones. You either sit still, or you try and come up. But knowing Bluey, knowing what kind of player Bluey is, if Kuxir hadn't moved, Bluey would have actually probably gone for a gentle touch and flicked it over him anyway. So Kuxir knew he had to try and close that gap, which is why he contested it. But just with the pace that Bluey came at that, he couldn't close it quick enough.
I still believe Kuxir made the correct decision there. It's just one of those things of, it was a bad situation for him to be in.
Yep.
Needed the challenge from Mystic to be just a little bit better. It's those small things in Rocket League that really do make the difference. It's the reason why people praise Fireburner as much as they do, because being able to be so consistent with that sort of play makes you so valuable as a player. We are played up to side by Mystic. He's got options over towards middle, but the ball was always running away from him. Now Kuxir off that backboard and gets a demo, but it's not going to matter too much because Ferret is down the other end. Bluey! Oh my goodness, what a great play that was from them. But it was just saved at the final second. Now down to the other end of the pitch. Flipside Tactics trying to find themselves a way through, trying to tie this game back up. So they'll control that midfield area. Bluey now by himself. Phenomenal ball carrier as he is, so useful in those situations where you just need to take it past the midfielder. Just set in the corner. Needs to get a second touch, but Marky is holding on to that ball. PSG need to hold on. How much does Marky do not get? He's got it past 1. Gonna look for the setup. He's made it open for Chaussette. He needs to get there. Gonna tap back down yet again. Here's the follow-up, and we are all tied up.
This was just great decision after great decision for Flipside Tactics. Marky getting it around 1, pinching on the side, Chaussette and Ferret going up, and Kuxir, knowing he couldn't drop it down instead, hits it off the backboard, making those 2 defenders useless as heck. Just floating there in the air, and then leaving the shot for his teammate Mystic coming in to seal the deal.
Having that ball floating around above your goal when you've got no one on the backboard to help you out is the worst situation I can imagine in Rocket League. From a feeling helpless point of view. It's Bluey and Chaussette. I think he might have actually put Chaussette off, and that is going to be very bad rotations, but Kuxir couldn't put it in on the open net.
He knew he was running out of time because they would retreat quickly. They had the boost to do so, but sadly in his quick shot he wasn't able to put it on target.
Ferret now up, but he will be beat by Mystic. Jumped just that little bit too early. Needs to wait around, play a little bit more reactionary. Cooksir gets there before Ferrer. Speed is starting to ramp up now for both of these teams. Bluey, though, a big challenge. He's got that one set up. But enough car in the way to prevent the shot from coming through. Marky Dudar looks to tip it in. They are getting very, very comfortable with those subtle touches, FLIPSID Tactics. And PSG, they've been giving them space for it.
On FLIPSID, almost like boost suckers right now. They're keeping everything so high and off the ground. And since they know right now PSG doesn't really have a lot of time to get on the backboard, that's suffering for them for a lot of boosts. They're forced to use so much to get up and contest these balls. And then FLIPSID can hopefully from then put on a couple more shots and punish.
All the way back now. Louis just putting that little bit of pressure on so Ferrer can move in for the secondary challenge. More challenges in that corner area. It's going to be PSG trying to find a way out. Teams used to be so scared of trying anything in that corner just because it was so hard to sort anything out, but now teams are a little bit more creative, know how to cut that ball out, know how to get off backboards. And Mystic knows how to make a good old Louis smash deck. Louis comes back in though. The shot, not going to trouble Cooksir too much. Now Mystic playing it down, over to Marky Dudar. I like the idea, just needs to be pulled off a little bit closer to the net. They could have levered it towards the goal with that a little bit more power. Heading into the final minute, these guys are still all tied up. Pace slowing down as well. I think both teams have recognized how important the next goal is. And Marky Dudar, he's been doing it all game, and he gets it.
He really has found his form. Marky Dudar, on the moment he wants to retreat, he steals a little bit of boost just in case, and on that retreat, making full use of his positioning, and this is what makes these teams so good. You never want to waste moments when you're up or back, and at least make yourself valuable in some way, whether it's just a threat because you are in a position or actually being something viable, and being there for that pass from Mystic, incredibly thoughtful.
If you're PSG, you definitely know Marky's doing it. It's not like that's the first time he's tried. Being consistently annoying around there. They'll be in their forts as they start to rotate around, but the main part in their forts right now will be the fact that they do need to get themselves a goal. Otherwise, this could be a huge problem, but Chaussette turns that one straight in. We are now back to 2-2.
5 shots to 6 right now, and this seems to be a bit of a silly way. Cooksir all the way on the side, no one anywhere near net. And Chaussette, the moment he realized that, took the shot. That accuracy is tough to do, man. Like, I know it seems super simple, but to pull that off the moment you need to, especially from that far, a little bit off, and he could have missed it, but Chaussette there to keep his team in the game. 2-2. Is it going to be 3-2? What? Ferrer immediately off of kickoff, 11 seconds left. PSG put themselves in the lead.
Oh, it's gone from so great to so wrong for FLIPSID Tactics. Ferrer straight off the kickoff. Lovely pass straight into the middle. And it is off the kickoff that it is so hard to sort your rotation out. You just sort of pick out where everyone is on the field. PSG taking advantage of that fact that they could be about to tie this series up. They now must touch the floor. FLIPSID Tactics got one more opportunity. Marky Dudar is still around. He's got it over to Cooksir, who just couldn't make contact. PSG tie this one up.
You mentioned it before we started, though. Someone being up for the passes, and it seems that Marky is fitting that role right now. And when I watched the series prior, Mystic really did always sit back, and I don't know if that was an agreed term with the team or if that's just where he feels comfortable just watching his 2 teammates play. I mean, there are some times you just watch 2 guys play, you're like, I'm just gonna stay back.
Yes.
What's the point of coming up, right? Because either they're doing so well together or those guys just feel so natural, progressing up the field, and you just have to kind of be more conscious for them. It's hard to know what it is because I'm not in their heads, I'm not in their comms. I don't know. I should maybe just send them a tweet or something. Maybe they'll tell me. I don't want to make them, reveal their tactics to her. Stop. No.
Oh yeah, you did.
I know.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I know that wasn't on purpose. I know you're better than that.
Feel it.
You're better than that, Carpet.
Hurts.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Take a deep breath in and just forgive yourself.
I hate myself. Oh, that didn't work.
Well,
that didn't work at all.
I'm not going to help you anymore.
Marky Dudar, though, he is that one that's way up there now. We saw like 2 or 3 incredible redirects from him, just putting himself in the box, and Cooksir's there to put it towards him. And sometimes one of them was completely circumstantial, but that is, if you're there, you can take advantage of situations that go your way.
It's actually something that's been lacking, especially this week, as those players that do move forward steal the mid boost and just linger around that little bit. Seems like there's been a lot of respect given over to opposition offenses and not wanting to leave anyone else back. So we're now going to head into our third game of this series.
Oh,
That's going to be a
Marky.
big bump. Farah couldn't get his result, and it's eventually... Oh, that went from a great play to a, okay, it's a right play, to just a scrappy as hell play.
You can't see it, but there's only one thing in team chat right now, and it's just that going, phew. That's it. It's the only thing anybody typed out for that. PSG, an incredible heads-up play to know to smash Marky Duda out of there, and then almost a terribly heads-down play of missing that shot. But they're able to get the first goal in this game early on.
Does lead to something quite important, though. Just out of this game and at the end of the last game, it was pretty close to the kickoff that PSG caused such huge problems for FLIPSID Tactics. FLIPSID need to be a little bit smarter with their kickoffs, keep people moving around, not get caught out. That's going to be bouncing off the post. Almost 2-0 within the opening 40 seconds for PSG, but FLIPSID Tactics will thank the woodwork for preventing that from happening, although Cooksit can't afford to be missing that. Marky Duda tries to kill it, but Bluey diving straight down, gets another block. Mystic forcing the move out from Chaussette. Here comes Farah. Flick up from one. Bluey is now available. Goes for a second one. But Marky Duda this time is in the way. To the other end of the pitch, it's going to be Mystic versus Chaussette. Mystic's done pretty well, but Farah holding himself on that backboard, or that back post, I should say. Very different places on the field. Cooks it, takes control. He's in a 1v1. He's got them a backfield. He's got plenty of flicks, but he doesn't choose to go for one. Instead, wants to go for the challenge win. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he had more options available to him.
It was something we saw a bit earlier. Sometimes when you know that you're great at the individual mechanical skills, I think in your head, it's easy to rely on them. Like, oh, I might be able to do this, I can pull this off. But sometimes the easier option is just to get it to a teammate that's right next to you or pretty nearby, or just to, you know, force that one defender into a place where you just put it above him. Not at net. Oh, Mystic with the carry. All the way across field, almost drops in.
Was he getting, like, fed boost from another source? How did he keep that going for as long as he did?
You know, the bonus canister.
Ah, the bonus canister. Yeah. It's invisible. You guys just haven't found it yet.
Yep. One of the pros know about it. /F.
Still going to get complaints now as everyone starts looking for it.
No. Someone's going to be really confused for like a week.
2 players committed, though, by FLIPSID, but it was powerful enough to not necessarily mean any danger for them. So the ball is straight back to PSG. Now Cooks is out of the play. Marky taking his time. Didn't feel any pressure from the PSG closing offense. 1-0 still with half this game left to play. Chaussette and the rest of PSG still holding on to this lead. Still playing it, though, like it is a tied game. Way too much of this game left to play to really start settling down, and PSG will not do it. Bluey, big block from him. Ferrer is in the corner. I can only assume that he got absolutely walloped from the other end of the pitch. After that, it was the Prius, the free jumps. Mystic, though, gets past one, and Bluey cutting himself in at the final second to take that one pushed over into the corner. But now FLIPSID Tactics, Mystic gets bullied in the air, can't drop down in time, and actually you got to feel maybe if he wasn't clattered into, he might have been able to get to that.
Yeah, he deliberately put it to the backboard. You know, you look for these double touches often as someone that's going in for the strike. Someone is going to, you know, if someone's jumping from net, they're going to be cutting off that angle. So then you put it above them at the backboard and then trust yourself to follow it up. But yeah, he got clamored pretty hard to the ceiling, and there's a good chance he could have had that.
And Marky Duda gets clamored pretty hard. Taken out of the game, at least for the time being. PSG still a goal up, 90 seconds remaining. FLIPSID Tactics trying to start playing this around, but Marky Duda opting for boost. They didn't feel that there was a play in there for him. FLIPSID still playing the ball pretty long. It's going to be hit and run for them at the moment. Not sure how much I trust that against a team as good at playing it away as PSG have been so far. And there's Bluey, past one. Chaussette with the follow-up. He's got it past two. Now Ferrer is up in favor for him. But Mystic with that rotation back. These teams so good at recovery, but almost levered at the top of the goal. Now FLIPSID, their chance to go to the other end of the pitch. 50 seconds now, still that one goal. As it was in the first game as well. Need to break down this PSG defense, do FLIPSID Tactics. First things first, they need to get it out of their own half. Bluey just being an annoyance. Marky's still in that midfield area, but Chaussette's got an opportunity. Puts that one up high. Cooksit has been moved, but Cooksit does also get contact, and very good contact as well, getting into the corner to slow down the upcoming offense. Pi. Flipside still probing. Cooks will be back in the rotation by now. He's going to be found as well. The pass, though, was read by Bluey. Interception, open net. Can he make the angle? Not quite. Here's going to be Farah on the follow-up, keeping it dangerous. Chaussette wants to come in, recognizing that Bluey has now rotated all the way back. One more opportunity for Flipside Tactics, but they need to get the ball. Mystic plays it long. Two players are available. Mystic flicks it up. Is there anyone there? It's going to be Monkey Duda, who hits the crossbar.
The second time, they get so incredibly close to bringing it to a tie game. If there's one side, if there's one thing the Flipside can do, it's fight until the very last second, or until there's no more seconds left. Flipside Tactics, we've seen them pull wins out, ties out, overtimes out, whenever it feels like there's nothing left. Let's take a look at that last moment. Actually, so sad to watch this happen.
Oh, it was such smart play as well. Mystic had the option to shoot, instead flicks it above Chaussette. And it's a hard shot to take. He gets up there as quickly as he possibly can, but just wasn't to be. Carpet, I did not get a brief like the last 30 seconds of that game.
Yeah, the touch from Bluey, first of all, not good.
No.
At all. I mean, not only did he drop it straight down in front of net, but he dropped it into Mystic.
You are 80% more likely to make a mistake in the final second of the game.
That is very true. There's so much pressure on. But then on top of it, the reason that Marky was shooting for the crossbar, he saw Chaussette coming across, so he couldn't just shoot for the empty net. He knows he has a single opportunity to try and put this, so he aimed for just below the crossbar, thinking that it would be way harder for Chaussette to get to since he wasn't coming from above the net, he was coming from the side. That's what I imagine. I'm going to give him some credit here. It's always hard to know what's going through their head, but that's why I imagine he put it so high when he probably could have just dropped it down low and taken the hit. But Chaussette was coming across. He trusts that man with his skill. He knows what he can do. So he tried to go for the pinpoint accurate shot, and he was just, what's a little better, what's bigger than pinpoint? Block point?
Atom point?
No, bigger than pinpoint.
Oh, big. Okay, that's definitely not bigger.
He wasn't pinpoint. He was more like block point accurate. He was pretty damn close, just not close enough.
So you're going to message Marky Duda later on asking what was he thinking for that final shot? And you're
No.
just going to message you back and say, I beat it.
But yeah, that's probably what he'd say. He'd just be like, who shot?
Mystic's got Cooks just to his side. Very accurate with the delivery so far, but with every single PSG player in the way.
Going back.
There's going to be a long ball, and PSG, can they try and follow up? Yes, it is going to be Chaussette picking up his first goal. And if PSG take this game, they take the series.
This is about the second or third goal that we've seen Flipside pushing too far up. Chaussette and Bluey both going for it. They wanted it. They trusted that I can't believe they would do that to Farah. If that didn't go in, Farah would have been in a really, really tight spot on defense. But, you know, it went in, so can't fault them.
It's another early goal conceded by Flipside. They've struggled to make it back both times of asking. Now this is going to be the third opportunity. Can they break down PSG? It's going to be a pass over to the side from Chaussette, recognizing the attempted block and just wanted to stay as clear as that from that as possible. Coming down to the final couple of seconds of this opening minute. Marky Duda. Those touches can be ever so dangerous if you've got someone running onto the ball, but he does get away with it. Chaussette leaving it for Bluey, who just launches it back into the Flipside Tactics end. Flipside do need to try and make sure that they're positioning themselves correctly here. Keeps on that midfield line. It was working earlier on. I think it will continue to work, but Mystic, he might be caught out. He has to try and go for the reverse aerial to try and recover. Chaussette looking for the double touch, almost got it. So dangerous on the counter-attack on PSG.
So whenever you're going against a really solid defense, a team that's great at rotating back and sticking someone in net, you generally, oh, not again, another one? Flipside.
Defenders, please. There has to be someone. Marky tries to go up.
Yeah,
and
that was on Marky.
he was the defender.
He was the last defender. He wanted to go for the nice touch. That's why he rolled his car upside down. He had an idea of where he wanted to put that, but he spent a little too much time thinking about where to put it and not as much time actually trying to hit it. It happens. Could have been just a little bit boost short, actually. I wasn't on his cam, but it looked like he soared right past it.
His eyes were bigger than his belly for that particular play. And it's going to put PSG even further back. It's an annoying thing, especially when you're against a team so good at counter-attacking, because as soon as they get that first goal, you effectively have to play into their style. You have to start coming forward that little bit more, which is exactly what they want to see. Attempt to slap down, but it's not going to quite happen. Cooks in, now in the corner. So crucial for Flipside Tactics to get one of these goals as quickly as possible. Cooks is going to back down because he knows Mystic's coming in. Almost got that first one. But PSG shutting the door down yet again. Every single time FLIPSID look like they've got a clean shot on net, someone just comes in and snatches the goal away from them.
Shogun, feel free to help me elaborate, but when you're going against a really hard defense, there's a team that's great at rotating back and can always get the clear out. You generally want to play less shots on goal, more keep away, where you're forcing them to kind of spread out, pull them out, or counterattack play, which has been working against FLIPSID right now. Well, I guess, I don't know if it's counterattack if you're kind of doing it yourself.
It's kind of weird because what I would normally recommend in this is play like we see Cloud9 playing. Get those cutting infield passes happening. But what PSG are doing, which is very different to a lot of defenses I see, is they're leaving Bluey as a floater towards the midfield area. So even if you do go for those cut passes plays, you still have to beat Bluey. So it's not a free move, no matter what you try and do. So it will work, but you do have to beat Bluey, which is a tough ask. Speaking of Bluey, he is now going to take control of the ball. Trying to look for that air dribble. He's been given respect, but that is almost perfectly played by FLIPSID, apart from the 2 players committed. But you don't want to just be launching yourself at it. Get yourself on the goal line, give yourself space to move, and that's going to be another shot. That will find its way in. PSG are well on their way to 4-0 in the league.
If you give them too much room, this is exactly what they'll do. And Farah has spent the last 2 seasons just proving over and over that he's not just a newcomer. He's not just a guy who showed up out of nowhere. He's been good, but he finally had a chance to show us how good he is. And he has not slowed down since last season.
And it was against FLIPSID Tactics that Farah really exploded onto the scene in week 1 of last season with that incredible dribble play. God, he would like to make this the team that he just has such a good record against. Even taking the win against FLIPSID Tactics in Worlds as well.
Oh,
and that's going to be another opportunity. FLIPSID, a 4th goal would spell the end of it. You almost expect 3 goals to spell the end of it. Now Cooks it. Takes the shot. Mystic is over in the corner. He's got Marky Juna to look for. Trying to get there as well. But PSG, so patient on that defensive end. They wait for the ball to be played and then they just attack it. Not even allowing shots to come in if they can help it. And even if they do, so well positioned with the rotations to just cut through, push it into the corner.
Gibbs mentioning that FLIPSID tend to be more methodical than fast-paced. But when you're going against a team like PSG, and as you said, Bluey, kind of being that floater, always in the middle, it's hard to be methodical when there's always somebody just being obnoxious and interrupting your plays.
Maki landed very awkwardly as well. It's going to be required to go to Mystic. It's going to be a good 1-2-3 passing play, but time is ticking away. It was difficult before. It's near impossible at this point in time. Shot set, and Farah free jumped and clouted straight into Cooks here. But I think we can almost certainly say I'm going to wait for a little while. This is my ending speech for this game. So, good goal, FLIPSID, but it is pretty much merely delaying the inevitable.
I mean, if there's a team that fights till the end, I've never seen FLIPSID give up on a game. Well, that might be never a strong word. I have no memories. I have retained no memories of FLIPSID. Oh, they tried the fake kickoff, and then it just got... That is the counter to the fake kickoff. PSG know their opponents. They must have studied them well, and they will take and continue their undefeated record here in the RLCS.
Method 4-0. PSG 4-0. That is still to come in future weeks. What a clash that is going to be. But in terms of playoff, in terms of making it to Worlds, that right there for PSG is probably their biggest win to date.
Mm-hmm. And you just have to look at FLIPSID Tactics. What is going to happen from here on forward? You do, again, every series, see glimpses. You see it happen. A lot of those goals weren't PSG beating them.
No.
It was FLIPSID making grave defensive mistakes. Where are those coming from? Are they trying to do too much as a team? Are they miscommunicating? It's nearly impossible for me to speculate. I can probably give you the 10 solid options that it could be, but I don't have enough time to do so. And honestly, no one's going to care because you're going to want to just say, get on with the game. We don't care what you have to say, which is accurate. Please keep that up.
Exactly. We've still got 1 game left to go today. We are not going to even try and explain that. Let's keep this broadcast rolling on. Axel Toss, to you.
Yeah, only 1 match to go. Coming up, it's Envy versus Mocket, but PSG staying smooth, staying solid, getting the victory there over FLIPSID Tactics, going up to 4-0. Now they're tied at the top with Method, looking like a great team. And Gibbs, I hear we have our first playoff scenario.
We finally have 2 teams that have clinched with that win. PSG clinches a top 6 spot, We'll see him in Season 5. Same with Method, because they play each other later. One of those teams has to get 5 wins, which means some other team somewhere along the way has to get 3 wins in 7th. So they both clinch top 6. So congrats to both of them. We'll see you in Season 5, and hopefully we'll see him at the World Championships.
There you go. First 2 teams into next season. Let's take a look at the Mobile One High Performance Replay. That's a series that started with FLIPSID going up 1-0, and then they were winning in Game 2, looking like they were about to sweep. But then PSG scored like 2 goals in 10 seconds, and then it was down the hill from there for FLIPSID.
Oh, that was the rough one for them. FLIPSID had that game in the bag, and then the face-off goal. It seems like PSG is starting to learn a lot of good face-off techniques. They read the fake versus Team Secret earlier today, then read a fake later on versus FLIPSID as well. So maybe some teams should start taking notes about PSG's face-offs.
Yeah, at the very beginning when, this FLIPSID team came out really quick, and I was just like, did we actually just give Axel too much part of a time? Is he going to be right? Like, what's going to happen? And then Game 2 happened, and I'm like, okay, phew, we're close. We're okay.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, like, they
look good, though, in that Game 1, I gotta say.
Clean.
Yeah.
Like, this PSG team, despite all these mistakes coming from FLIPSID, a lot of it does have to do with just the subtle pressure that this team puts on and just how frustrating it is to deal with this defense.
Just weird defensive mistakes from FLIPSID there is going to get PSG the win in game number 4. They only had 5 shots, and they scored 3 of those. So they win while FLIPSID gets 10 shots on 1 goal. So some weird mistakes by FLIPSID there where they had 2 guys go for the aerial, and it was mostly Marky as the third man. I could see maybe the second man trying to make a play, but the third man can't be going up as well. So they have to correct that going forward, and now they fall 0-2 this week, so they got to watch out about that bottom 2 spots.
So if you would have guessed this, week 3, right now, FLIPSID and Envy are both 1-3 at number 6 and 7 in the standings. FLIPSID Tactics and Team Envy. So anything can happen here in the Rocket League Championship Series. Method and PSG starting out strong. We have 1 more match to go today, and it's a very important one, honestly, for both these 2 teams. At this point, every match is important. Coming up next, we have Envy going up against Mocket, our final best of 5 of the day. Thanks for being here and hanging out here on twitch.tv/Rocket League. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with our final match.